Down. Safety buckle on. It's a little bright out, so throw the sunshades on. Or not. Okay, maybe not. And you're live. Congrats. Got a few people on board. I can't really see anyone. It's not showing anyone that's live, but thanks for jumping on. Chris Helper's on. What's going on, sir? I don't need the sunshades right now. Tina Sherry's on. How are you, Tina? And my girl, Steph Helper's on. Love you, babe. Just gonna wait a few minutes and get rolling. People jumping on, jumping off. But I promised, hopefully everyone's having a good start to their Monday. It's a little brisk out. Seeing that it was in the 50s over the weekend, but last week I had promised that I would get going into the book. Just finished up a few things, going today for the last kind of shoot, try and get the cover of the book finalized. And I'm just trying to spread the word and get the word out there that it's going to be released. Hopefully, you know, we sell a ton of copies, but more importantly, hopefully, after people read it, they can relate some aspect of their lives to it. That's the whole idea behind the book. Hopefully, you know, the book can help somebody out. That's, you know, that's why I kind of do anything in life. Is obviously we all want to try and get ahead in life, but at the same time, you know, I've always wanted to do good and try and help others out, and this is a way that if I can use my experience to, morning Dominic, my experience is to help other people out. I'm going to put the sunshades back on because I can see it's going to be a little bright over there. If I could use my experiences and in turn they can help somebody else out, well then it's all worth it. So Laura, my publisher, she's on. Amazing woman with amazing family from the UK. Their daughter Tegan is a writer herself at 8 years old. She's got a few books published. As I said on Friday, she's going to be sharing the stage with Gary Vaynerchuk, which is quite the honor. But so I'll get into chapter 1. So it's an exciting time for me. For those of you that want to write a book, that have a story to tell, message me and I can get you in contact with someone who can help you do that. But the book is called Find Your Playlist. I know every Monday I try and motivate you guys with, or give you some sort of motivational moment or topic or something to talk about, and today we'll kind of tie a couple of that in. Hopefully, you know, the chapter 1 will give you'll be able to relate to some extent, and that'll be your motivation for the day. And the whole idea behind the book is that it's how I was kind of in one of, you know, my worst places, you know, my rock bottom. I've had quite a few, and if you know me, you probably know a couple of them, but everyone's is different, and some people might not even be aware of when somebody is at their worst, at their rock bottom, or whatever it might be. And so the book is how I kind of went from there, from being in a bad spot, from not wanting to be here anymore, to just, when you failed to the extent that I have, and everyone views their own failures, we are our own worst critics. And you know, but when you do the same things over and over again, it kind of gets, sorry about that, guys, it's bright. It just, it can get to you. You know, life can get to us. Life can bring us down. Life can kick us in the face, punch us in the throat. However you want to put it. I mean, life can be downright cruel at times. And oftentimes, if you're like I was, you would ask yourself, why me? You know, why is this happening to me? And that is something that we can't ask ourselves. And, you know, we need to just figure out, okay, this happened, how am I going to deal with it? It's easier said than done. A lot easier said than done. But for me, anyway, that's what the book's about. It's about how I went from a bad spot to, and how I used music to get from where I was to kind of where I am today, doing live videos with you guys, helping others find out what their passion is in life. And that's the whole idea behind the book. Find your playlist, find your passion. So my first chapter in the book is kind of a progression. It's not that every chapter was in unison, but it just after, reflection and looking back, that's just kind of how the book came together, and every chapter played its part in finding my playlist, and finding my purpose, my passion. And the first chapter is every chapter, mind you, is a title of a song. It's how I use music to get from point A to point B. It's how I use music to work things out in my own mind, in my head, however you want to put it. And chapter 1 is a song that I can remember being a kid and walking the streets of Lovejoy with an old friend, a longtime friend of mine. And as we were kids, we were singing this song, Under the Bridge, by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And at that point, we thought we were going to be, music stars. We thought one day we'd be on stage singing. Obviously, that didn't happen. And it's a good thing, because I don't really have that good of a voice. I don't think neither does he, but in the song Under the Bridge, the words in there are take me to the place. Well, really, the verse that really got me was, I don't ever want to feel like I did that day. And for me, it wasn't a good spot I was in. I felt like a failure. I had let myself down, my job down, my family down. Yet again, and it wasn't the first time. It was redundant. It was just kept a cycle that kept repeating itself, and I had just grown tired of it. A mistake or a failure is a failure, but the idea is to learn from it. The problem I had is I would continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And there's no sun anymore, so I can take these off. And that was the problem. Mistakes are good, and we all make mistakes. The question is, do you learn from them? And I didn't. Good morning, David. And I didn't learn from a lot of the mistakes that I made, and that's where the trouble came in. That's where the stress, the sense, the depression came in, because I just felt like there was no end in sight. I just kept doing the same things that I didn't want to do over and over again. I felt like I had no control over my life. And in that song, when I was, and mind you, the music and all the chapters that are in this book were listened to. I had listened to them thousands of times. But it wasn't until I was really in a state of reflection that the words of the song, I felt like they were written for me when I was listening to them, and the words in the Red Hot Chili Pepper song Under the Bridge resonated with me, because I didn't ever want to feel like I did that day again. I had grown tired of it. And the phrase or the verse in there would take me to the place I love, and that's where a lot of us, when we're in a bad spot, where do we go? We want to go back to that place where life was easier. And for me, it was a kid. Life was it was a lot simpler, right? As a kid, there's no we were innocent. We still had our innocence, and so that song to me was one that really just kind of hit home, and it just made complete sense to have that be the first chapter in the book. And music does a lot of things, a lot of different things for a lot of different people, and that's why my playlist might not be the same as anyone else's, but when the book comes out and you read it, that's my hope, is that whatever it is that's going on in your life, you can relate to it. You can relate to maybe a chapter, maybe you can relate to the entire book, but hopefully in the long run it actually helps you out, and that's the idea behind it. We all love music, and most of us, we love our lives, but at this point, and where I was in chapter 1, I didn't love any aspect of my life. I couldn't see the forest through the trees. I couldn't see anything. The only thing I saw was failure, and I was just sick and tired of it. So that is kind of a little bit of the premise behind the book and behind chapter 1, with the Red Hot Chili Peppers starting the way. And it's funny because the song, Under the Bridge, and what is the meaning of that song? But, it's that failure needs to be water under the bridge. You need to, in life, we need to be able to handle these failures and move on. The problem is when you create so many of them and you create the same one time in and time again, it becomes difficult to move past it. Again, there's that feeling of a lack of control, and that's what I had. So that is chapter 1, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. Tomorrow's Tuesday, I'll get into chapter 2, and we'll go through the next probably 2.5 weeks, doing a chapter a day, and how that relates to my life, and maybe you can relate it to your life, and use that as your source of motivation for the day. And then hopefully, I'm going to say, by the time we go through the book on these live sessions, which should be, again, about 2.5 weeks, I'll have an actual release date. We're going to doing the editing and cover and all that stuff right now. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to grab my Starbucks coffee to keep me going. And I will talk to you guys. I hope you have a great Monday. It's supposed to be a pretty decent week out here in Buffalo, New York. So have a good week. Have a good Monday. I'm out. I'll see you on Tuesday.